Alright, welcome back. So I did find a boss dungeon. You'll notice my inventory is terrible right now. Next time we'll be coming back with more bags, but that's okay. Because we can always throw down some of this stuff. I did find some iridium ore and everything. So anyway, here we go. We have this evolved skeleton boss. And we're going to use our Thaumcraft stuff on him, I think. Just a little bit. Now this guy does do a bit of damage, but if you have flight, you can kind of fly over his head like I'm doing, and he can't react as well. Now you'll notice when I first ran in there, he was like getting on me pretty good. And he'll hold you like this, and he'll toss you around the room. And he's going to try to toss you up into those, he can toss you at least into those bits of lava. And that's bad news, so. And of course he's going to do falling damage if you don't have flight. But if you have flight, this fight is so much easier. And once you finish him off, he's going to kind of do this spin effect. And there we go. You could also, I guess, stand up here and just kind of range him down as well. So, we got our key. Haha. And we have a zombie. Oh, okay. By the way, if any mobs enter this this room, they're going to despawn instantly. So if you have that room cleared out, you could always use that kind of as cover. But anyway, you're going to get this tier 1 dungeon key. And what you do with this is we're just going to insert it and open up our chest. Haha. So we got manganese, we got yellow garnet, a bunch of just junk. But we did get, haha. Oh, we got holy water again. Okay. But we got what we really, really wanted, which is a NASA workbench schematic for a tier 2 rocket. Now, there's two different schematics that you can get when you go through this tier 1 dungeon on the moon, and that is either a schematic for a moon buggy or you can get the tier 2 rocket. It's about a 50-50 chance as far as what you're going to get. Actually, I'd rather have bronze and copper. So it's either like it's about a 50-50 chance as to what you're going to get. By the way, I did get a little bit more meteoric iron. We only have 9. So I'm going to be here probably for a while mining after the fact because we need about as much of this stuff as we can get. Oh wow, this chicken only gives 1. Probably should have just brought a lot of cans of food with me. But we are, if you recall, we're going to need quite a bit of that meteoric iron. But that's really the only other thing that we really, really want from here, honestly, is more meteoric iron in order to make our stuff to move forward. Now, like I said, next episode, if you guys want, I mean, if you guys don't want to, if you want to move on to Mars and maybe set one up there or whatever, but otherwise, if you guys want to, next episode, we'll set up a actual moon base and I can show you how to do that if you so desire. But the main things that you're going to want off of the moon is going to be a bunch of meteoric iron, and I mean an absolute ton of it, because you're going to need a bunch of it to make your tier 2 rocket as well, and chances are your tier 3 rocket. But it will get easier. For starters, if we want, we can make ourselves better oxygen tanks. So, but these do require a lot of meteoric iron for each one. We're talking 7 meteoric iron for each tank. So honestly, it's kind of iffy as to whether or not I'll just carry like a bag full of light oxygen, or if I actually want to make those, because meteoric iron, you'll notice, is not common to find. There's one. Because I've been flying around out here for a decent amount of time, and this will be what, my 10th one. So, I wasn't sure when I was getting here if there was going to be deposits, kind of like the other Greg Tech stuff or not. But since there's not, it does make it a little bit more tricky moving on, because of course we're going to need meteoric iron for our airlocks. That was our original intention for it. But also for our tier 2 rocket, we're going to need these heavy duty plates, which do require meteoric iron for each one. Now the rest of this stuff, actually, minus maybe the booster, yeah, it takes meteoric iron. So honestly, 6, 16 meteoric iron, and you can make your tier 2 rocket. But we are going to want airlocks to actually make a base. And, you know, that's the main reason we're not setting up a base right now, because we're going to need like 9 meteoric iron to really make a base, because we're going to have to seal it so that the oxygen will actually be able to fill up the room and everything. And it is a bit more expensive on here due to the cost of all the meteoric iron that we're going to need. Now keep in mind that this meteoric iron can spawn places that you've already been. So like right now I'm running through an area that I've already been, but we can still find meteoric iron because this stuff drops from the sky ever so often. So if you have a base here on the moon, of course you're going to be a lot luckier as far as finding that than you know, just kind of passing through. And also, by the way, your lander, make sure and get your stuff out of it fairly quickly after landing on the moon, because your lander will sink into the ground and disappear. I mean, you can dig down to it, yes, but it is going to sink. So make sure and get your stuff out of there. Otherwise, you will possibly lose it, which is never a good time. But anyway, I'm kind of happy that we got that schematic, because like on my Crackback series, I had to go through, of course, my first dungeon when I hit the moon didn't have a boss. And then I had to go through 3 or 4 dungeons before I finally got the tier 2 schematic. So you can get pretty unlucky and it take a while. But since we got that, technically we could move on to Mars once we have like the 16 meteoric iron. Now keep in mind though that meteoric iron will not spawn on Mars. So ideally I want to get some naquita fairly quickly and make it so that we can teleport to these places instead of having to pilot our rocket each time. So next episode I don't know. We'll probably set up a base on the moon next episode, or go to the end, because we still need to kill the Ender Dragon, and honestly I think we're capable of doing it. We just need to get out there and do it. So one or the other. If you guys have a preference, you know, do let me know in the comments, and I will be more than happy to give you a hand. But yeah, if you guys have a preference about the end or moon base, do let me know. And we'll do one next episode and the other after. Or we can go ahead and do a Mars base. You know, maybe the episode after the end or something. And skip making one on the moon, or whatever you guys prefer. And I'll show you how, you know, you go about actually setting that up and everything. It's really not that hard. It's mainly just making sure that everything's sealed up and all. Not too bad. Is that diamond? Is this diamond? No, that's aluminum. Okay. I will probably snag... No, I won't. I'm going to mark it. It seems like the mining on the moon is not bad, though, because there's a decent amount of rare materials right along the top of the moon. So, mining here is not bad at all. But anyway, give me a minute. I'm going to fly around, see if I can get some more meteoric iron, and... you'll notice it's taking forever to find any of this stuff. But then I'll be back once we're ready to head back to Earth, and I'll show you how you go about doing that. By the way, really quickly, I want to show you, this is what you like to find, is when you have, there's 3 meteors right here together. Earlier I actually found 2, but 3 is just amazing whenever you come across this, and you've got yourself, you know, multiple meteors within the same area. And sometimes you'll get lucky if you spent a while in like the same area or something, or, you know, kind of near an area, then sometimes you'll get lucky and come across, you know, just meteor after meteor after meteor that you'll keep passing by and everything. So do keep an eye out for those. A lot of times when there's one meteor, there is another nearby. Right now we're up to 18, so we're doing all right. I am starting to get kind of low on oxygen. I think I have 2 tanks left, so we will fairly quickly be looking to head back. So anyway, I'll be back in just a moment. Alright, welcome back. So I ended up finding 26 meteoric iron, which is not bad. That would allow us to make airlocks and the tier 2 rocket. So we could, If you guys wanted to, we could go ahead and set up a base on Mars. Honestly, I was thinking about it. I don't think that I'm going to go with the second tier of tanks, because once we hit Mars, Dash is what we need for the tier 3. Dash is easy to get. Like, for example, or generally, I don't know about with the Greg Tech or Jim, we'll have to see. But generally, I can land on Mars and within, oh, there's another one. Within a few minutes, have a stack of Dash, like very, very quickly. Almost as soon as I land, I have Dash. So unless Greg Tech is just majorly different as far as that goes, we'll probably just wait and do the tier 3 tanks. I think that's going to be better for us moving forward. You'll also notice that our lunar lander is completely gone. It's completely underground, so that's why I say be careful and make sure and get your stuff out immediately. You'll also notice that you do leave footprints on the moon. I don't know if I mentioned it. And it's also very, very hard to take falling damage because you have just a constant slow fall. That's why I've only used 2% of my jetpack, and I've been jetpacking around constantly because you can pretty much just occasionally thrust and stay above the ground, fairly well. So anyway, we only have one tank left that's full, so I'm going to go ahead and start setting up the stuff that we need in order to actually fly on out of this place. Now, the reason I said bring a vibrant capacitor bank is in case it is dark. By the way, nighttime is dangerous. Just be aware of that. If you have flight and stuff, it's not so bad because, of course, you can kind of fly, build yourself up some kind of a platform and light it up and get away from the mobs. But at nighttime, there's generally mobs all over the place on the moon. And, of course, the moon doesn't really give you much cover to hide behind, especially at nighttime. But since the sun's up, we're going to go ahead and use these solar panels because I want to show you guys these as well because they look amazing. But we'll go ahead and set these up. Now you'll notice that these actually turn to face where the sun is at, which I think is just awesome. We'll set the other one up here. They do take up a 3x3 area, so you're not going to be able to place them just right on top of each other. And then we'll take and set up our launch pad, just like so. And we'll throw a rocket down on there. And then let's go ahead and grab our fuel loader. And make sure that you bring this with you. I can't stress that enough because if you don't, of course, you're going to die. And actually, I need to rotate this. No, other way. Other way. The red side is energy. It needs to face your wires. And then we'll just grab, and I noticed that like in normal in normal Galacticraft, basically 1,000 millibuckets of fuel is going to fill up your rocket, but it seems like you need 3 in Infitech, I've noticed. So just a heads up on that. And also if you're using those fuel cells, it is going to consume those. I don't know if that's intended or not, but that's okay. So basically we're just going to let this kind of charge up. You'll notice this is the energy that it has. And if we pop into here, we can hit our numpad 3 and see. Right now it's 40% full. So we'll give that just a minute to fill up, and then we'll be ready to take off. So, and I do suggest you go ahead and set that up somewhere that you can remember, because while it's fueling, you can always fly around and look for more meteoric iron, which is what I'm going to do for just a second. Because meteoric iron is something you really are not going to be able to have enough of. Because we are going to need it to make our tier 3 rocket, and chances are we're probably going to need quite a bit of it to make our tier 3 rocket. Now once you get to the tier 3, it's no longer an issue because the asteroid belts have meteoric iron, and sometimes they'll have meteoric iron meteors that are made up primarily of meteoric iron. So once you hit tier 3 and you're able to go to the asteroids, getting meteoric iron is simple. It's so easy. But it's just this first tier where it's not so easy. Now I will say not being able to get Naquadah here changed up some things. For some reason I was thinking we could find Naquadah on the moon. And I guess I'd looked at it wrong. It's the end or asteroids, which I know some of the viewers had commented and said they weren't able to find Naquadah in the end. We're probably going to go there and see if we can find some. It seems like it's probably just super rare maybe. Or it may just not be there. Which is possible too. Because I was reading on some forums because I forgot my ore generation book. It's bad, bad on my part. But I was seeing whereabouts an Aqueduct would spawn, and that's how I found out. It doesn't spawn here, but some people were saying they'd found it in the end. Some people were saying they couldn't find it on the end, so I don't know for sure. But anyway, let's check on our rocket. Let's have a look here. So it's 100% full. Alright, and before we leave, let's go ahead and break our fuel loader. Really? Do we have to have wire cutters? Okay, no. I was like, really? Alright, and we'll grab this and this. Sometimes you gotta watch because your stuff will take off without you. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw like this in there just so we have some inventory slots that are opened up. And once again, we will take off. And it's pretty much the same way that it was before. And of course now we will be heading back to Earth, and our oxygen's starting to run low, so it couldn't come at a better time. But we have 27 meteoric iron, which I'm fairly happy with, because that's enough to really allow us to do a lot of the things that we want to do in order to move forward. And once again, your rocket pad's going to break. You make one of those and you're pretty well set. Now, I probably should have made a spare set of rocket pads. Now that I think about it, it was probably a bad idea on my part, because in my Crack Pack series, I actually went to the moon and forgot to, or I went to the moon and it didn't give me my rocket pads. They just vanished, but it didn't actually drop them for me. So had I done it this way, I probably would have got stranded. So maybe if you're coming to the moon just as a trip and you're not, you know, you're doing like I did and not setting up a base, you're just coming, you know, to go and then come back. I probably might do that thinking back on it. It might be a good idea for you to do that. But it should give you your rocket pads. So it should. Let's go ahead and double click, make sure it's got the overworld. It does. We'll go ahead and launch. Now you can make a space station. I don't generally do it because basically it's, and by the way, this is what your parachute's for. And you can kind of parachute around and try to land in a specific place. And by the way, that chest is your items. It's going to have your rocket and your launch pad and all that good stuff in it. Also, anything that's in your storage is going to be in this chest. So we'll give it just a second to land. Da-da-da. And here we go. So we got our rocket launch pad and our tier 1 rocket. And you'll notice that you have a bit of fuel here. You can actually pull this stuff out. Let's see. Well, you can actually take like a fuel cell or something. I'm assuming that you can use the Greg Tech ones. But if you have like an empty canister, you can actually pull that fuel out and reuse it. If you so desire. I didn't worry about it really because I have tons of that gasoline stuff, so I wasn't too concerned about that. But let's really quickly, I'll show you how to put schematics into your NASA bench. So if we come up here and we open up our NASA workbench, what you can do is you can hit next and there'll be an add new schematic part here. You can add this in, unlock schematic, and go back, and now you'll notice that we have the tier 2 rocket. Now keep in mind the tier 2 rocket does have one additional line of the plates that go here, as well as this only has 2 here, 2 fins. This has a third one that is a booster. So that's the major changes. You're still going to use the tier 1 stuff for the rocket, minus the plates and the boosters. Those are a tier 2 specific thing, and those are going to require meteoric iron for us. So anyway, I do believe I'm going to end the episode there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, next episode, if you want, let me know in the comments if you want me to go to the end, and we'll see if we can find some Naquita. Another reason I want to go to the end is, of course, because the Hardcore Ender expansion is in the pack, and there's some really awesome stuff to do with that mod that I'm definitely looking forward to. It does make the Ender Dragon slightly more difficult than standard. That's kind of why I've held out on fighting him for so long. But honestly, I think that we could do it no problem. And we might see if we can find some Naquita, or we can go set up a base on the moon or on Mars. It's up to you guys. If you want me to set one up on the moon, we can. Realistically, though, there's really no point at this time. Mars is more... we'll probably spend a bit more time on Mars, I'm thinking. The asteroids, I think, is where we're going to spend most of our time. But once again, Mars, you're pretty much... You know how the moon, we went there for meteoric iron and our tier 2 rocket schematic. Once again, there is another schematic that we can get for a moon buggy, and I'll try to find that and get that built so I can show you guys. It's not something I generally use, but it is something if you like to kind of drive a car in Minecraft, you can do that. But Mars, we're pretty much going to be going there for Dash, which is another material, but it spawns a lot easier than meteoric iron. Like I said, you can, in normal Galacticraft, you can land there and have a stack of that in absolutely no time at all, without even really trying to get it. Like, you'll be passing that stuff up, you're like, I don't even want any Dash. It's super, super common. Now, I don't know about how it's going to work out with Greg Tech. We'll see. But also, we're going to be looking for a tier 3 schematic for our rocket. And there's an additional schematic for a cargo loader rocket as well. And there's another boss too, which is going to be interesting. But anyway, like I said, let me know in the comments what you guys want to see for next episode. And I'm going to continue working on this building and maybe get our tier 3 rocket built. I'm going to try. It's really not that expensive as long as you have that meteoric iron. I mean, it's a lot more of the compressing every metal in the world and all that stuff. It's going to take a bunch more TNT, but overall it's not all that bad. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already for more daily videos. And I don't know what's up with the XP tank. Like, it just keeps draining by itself even though this is turned off. It seems like... Yeah, okay. See, I don't know. It'll get up to a certain point. Like earlier, there was actually some in this tank, and then it just started draining. So I may end up taking the XP shower off and just putting it on there whenever I want it. Maybe. Might be what I do. But anyway, I hope you guys join me for next time. And until then, as always, do take care. And I hope to see you guys next time.